5 years, Europe was a vast prison. Yet nothing equaled the atrocities of Auschwitz.
Preserved in the annals of history.
In 1944, we were all moved to Auschwitz Concentration Camp.
The symbol of Hitler-like rule, a factory of death.
Michael Bornstein.
I was actually moved to a children's bunk, and most kids didn't survive much longer than 2 weeks before they were gassed to death and burned.
Can see on film the first moments of his life, free from Nazi imprisonment.
I was born in Poland, Żarki, Poland. At the time, Żarki was a ghetto occupied by the Nazis.
The infants were known by the numbers on their little hands.
Bornstein was 4 years old when he was liberated from the concentration camp 80 years ago today. His survival, a miracle, which he attributes to an illness.
The Nazis were germophobic, so my grandmother was with me. Dora took me to the quote-unquote infirmary, and that's how we were basically saved, because otherwise we'd be on a death march.
Bornstein's father and brother did not survive.
I seem to remember the smell, the foul, disgusting smell that I found out later is the smell of burning bodies. I remember Nazis shouting at me in German. And I remember going out looking at trash cans to find moldy potato skins to eat to survive.
After they were freed, Bornstein and his mother moved to the United States, homeless and penniless. Bornstein worked, went to college, met his wife Judy, embarked on a career in pharmaceuticals, started a family.
I didn't talk about my experience in Auschwitz for at least 70 years. I kept my sleeve down. I hid my tattoo. This doesn't erase, by the way.
Why did you stay silent for so many years?
Well, I was embarrassed. But as I got older, I think I realized that people need to understand what happened, wake up, and minimize the hate and bigotry that's going on around the world.
So that's the tree is part of the International Butterfly Project. It is 26-foot by 26-foot bronze kapok tree.
Lee Routman is the executive director of the Holocaust Learning Experience based in West Palm Beach.
Their goal is to create 1.5 million butterflies to represent the 1.5 million children who were murdered during the Holocaust.
She wants to make sure the stories of the Holocaust and the lessons they carry outlive the dwindling number of people who can tell them.
So the urgency was to capture their stories in a way that was easy and accessible for teachers to use.
Routman started the Holocaust Learning Experience 3 years ago.
Understanding bias and prejudice and the impact of hate and bigotry, and standing up and understanding how propaganda can change societies is a really important lesson.
Capturing survivors' stories on video and developing a curriculum for teachers to bring to the classroom.
We have lessons that are being used in social studies and world history, geography, economics, math.
Routman says the learning material is fully compliant with Florida's education standards and benchmarks. It's now taught in 40 school districts across the state, with plans to roll out nationwide.
For the world to hear their stories and for the world to know that this actually happened is so important.
And that's why Bornstein traveled back to Auschwitz.
To show what happens when there's so much bigotry and hate.
To mark the 80th anniversary of the day he walked free.
Hate and bigotry has no place in this world.
In honor of the millions who did not.
4 million people lost their lives at Auschwitz. Today, the camp is empty, but it is full of traces of Nazi barbarism.